I'm Lily.
And I'm Kiev. And welcome to the portal of our minds. There they go, look.
Oh, wow.
There's another one. There's a couple of
Aww.
them. There's a family. Damn, this sun is making me look glowing.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another Piece of Our Minds.
And today what we have for you is Bigfoot and other mythical creatures are real. What? If you're wondering where we've been for the last few days, we've been on a work trip down in Oregon.
There was no service down there. There was nothing like...
There's nothing we could do.
Didn't know what to do. I literally didn't know what to do. There was no service. It was just processing.
You didn't know what to do.
Whatever.
Work.
Y'all probably don't care.
We're back. First things first, Bigfoot's real. Werewolves are real. Vampires are real.
So here's the thing.
Chupacabra's real.
Here's the thing. Obviously, there's no like... I mean, people would argue against being like, source, hard proof,
evidence.
You know, but like, here's the thing. Sometimes you just can't deny what you've seen with your own two eyes. And let me tell you, I've seen some shit. And when I say I've seen some shit, okay, here's the thing. I'm about to tell this story. Some of you might believe me. Some of you were gonna be like, oh, a nice fairy tale. But this shit really happened to me. So I don't care what you think. You can laugh at me, whatever. But this happened to me. And I cannot forget about it. So I was about like 9 or 10 years old. And it was in one of my older houses. That house already had a bunch of weird paranormal stuff that went on in there. Like, it was pretty bad. Shoulders tapped, shadows, seeing things. But anyways, so I was in my room. It was nighttime. Everyone in the house was sleeping, and I was just watching TV in bed. And so I'm laying in bed, and if I look right here to my left, there's my door, and I can see straight down the hallway. That's always fun, right? I used to sleep with my door open all the time because it made me feel better. Well, I hear my dad like getting up, and then I see him come out of the room, and he's coming down the hall like towards my room. The bathroom is right next to my room. So and I was like, hey Dad, and he completely ignored me. And so I was like, what the hell, like that's weird. So I say it again. He gets a little bit closer to my room, and I'm like, Dad, hey, and he completely ignores me again. So he stops right in front of my door just like this, and he's staring at me. And again, I was like, Dad, like I was starting to get freaked out at this point. So I just kind of started sitting there staring too.
You got me on the edge of my seat. Keep going. Don't stop.
This dude all of a sudden turns into a werewolf. It sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but this is really what I saw. It was like a skinny, bony werewolf, and he was like standing like with his like back hunched. Like the way he turned into it was just like, it started with his legs and it went up, and then his back was hunched, and then he went like, and like his tongue came out, and it came out like
Venom's tongue, if you guys know Venom.
I don't even know Venom, but it came out like really long, like this, like.
Well, how you're describing it is
curled
like
up,
Venom's.
like that. And he was like breathing like, and I was just like, what? I was just staring in shock, like what the hell is going on right now? And then he turns and walks into the bathroom, and I'm just sitting there like heart like what the hell was that, you know? And I'm literally kind of just like waiting for him to come back out of the bathroom, and he never came back out of the bathroom. I eventually ended up falling asleep, but I remember telling him the next day about it, and he was just like, oh, you know, crazy dream, you know, whatever. But no, it wasn't a dream. Like, I was wide awake watching TV, and I remember it very, very vividly. And I know some other people who have some weird stories kind of like that too. But yeah, either believe me or you don't, but that shit happened, and I will never ever forget it. This happened like 10, 11 years ago. I will never forget that shit.
I, on the other hand, have heard many stories. I claim that as a kid I've seen a Bigfoot when going through the woods with my cousins, but I can't quite pinpoint it. The memory's a little foggy, but I'm pretty sure I saw a face in the woods. It could have definitely been the spirits of the forest, but what the story that she told, it kind of correlates to a book I recently read. I forget, Monsters and More Among Us or something like that.
Monsters Among Us.
Monsters Among Us. I don't know, I couldn't think of the title, but We'll drop that link of the book in the description, and we'll put a picture of it at the end of this. I think you guys would really like it if you're really into monsters and supernatural. I just got done reading it. It was phenomenal.
It's all about true encounters, people's true encounters.
This lady goes around and it collects data from true encounters from across the world, or across the United States primarily. And one of the main things that the book indicates is that these mythical creatures, these supernatural beings, come from portals from a different dimension. Now, a lot of the stories that have been told in the book of specifically Bigfoot encounters, they always will see an orb of some sorts, or they'll see some weird fog of some sorts before they see a Bigfoot, or they'll notice that the air around them goes quiet. The birds stop chirping. They don't hear anything. And I forget what that's, the Twilight Zone. It's a type of Twilight Zone type thing. There's like this certain word, it's called the something zone, and once you're in that zone, like everything kind of like ceases, time kind of like doesn't really work. It's almost like you entered a different dimension, which portals can come in any types of, I mean, like in movies there's portals that are in clouds, that you walk through a cloud. There's portals where it's an actual giant portal. There's also these orbs. In Aliens even, a lot of people start to see weird lights before they actually see an alien or see a UFO.
And here's the thing, like a lot of people argue, obviously, like, oh, portals aren't real and all this stuff. But you really got to have an open mind, because think about it.
Where did we get the word
best
portal from?
scientists of all times, do you think they had a closed mind?
No.
You can't like just think that we're the only people here. I mean, obviously you can do what you want, but like
there has to be some sort of doubt.
There's so many people that have seen things, and including myself, that I personally can't say that they don't exist. I don't think anyone can say they don't exist, because there's no hard evidence that they do, but there's also no hard evidence that they don't.
Like, people don't just get these random ideas of like, okay, I'm going to talk about this person who has giant fangs that sucks people's blood,
I thought about
and then make a story up about it, and then have that story last for generations and generations, and then make movies about it, about vampires. There's some
werewolves, vampires.
There's some sort of evidence out there that people
Bigfoot,
have encountered,
aliens,
where they're making movies about it.
Mermaids, all these things. First of all,
the Loch Ness Monster.
When it comes to mermaids, I'm a believer in mermaids. You want to know why? You want to know why?
You want to know?
Because we've only discovered 5% of our ocean. I don't even know if it's 5%. It's either like 1 to 5%
we know more about space
about
than we
our
do about
ocean.
our own ocean.
And which is the crazy part is that's like 70 or 80% of our whole entire planet is the ocean, and we only know that percentage of it. And people just want to be like, oh yeah, that doesn't exist. Go explore it then.
Like,
go explore it then.
You might find fish like this.
Oh, you will find fish like that for sure.
20 times bigger. That will gobble you up in a second.
Which is just crazy to me. And I've heard things that
in ice and they hungry.
I've heard that like the divine lives everywhere. Obviously, everything is divine, but like that there's like divine beings that live down underneath the ocean, and that we're not ready for them, and that's why we don't have the technology.
Us,
yeah, and that's why like we don't have, like, our brains can't comprehend the technology to actually get down there. You know, like. It's just crazy. I think it's funny too how so many humans think they know all this stuff, but or know everything, but we've barely scratched the surface of anything. We still don't even know how the pyramids were made. Like, that's one of the greatest mysteries of all time. Like, I think there's so many things that our human selves just at the moment can't comprehend or can't fathom. But I think there's definitely things out here that could totally be real.
Another thing I want to input in there is I believe like deities such as like the Greek gods and the Roman gods and the Egyptian gods and like the Hindu gods, like all these gods that people talk about throughout their cultures, like as many beings. I believe those beings are real. I don't believe that what history is telling us about how long the earth and how long humanity's been around is as long as they've been around. I feel like that's false. Humans have been around for a really long time. I just think there's been certain...
But they weren't human.
But true. But they didn't really...
Maybe. I don't know.
They might have been called themselves humans, but they weren't. They weren't as indulged in themselves as we are, as humanity is today. Everyone's selfish. Let's just put it that way.
Like today?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
that
were
makes
more
sense.
as a collective, so they
Yeah.
were carrying all this other stuff, but there were gods that they interacted with. There were these beings, and some of these beings very well could have been extraterrestrial and took it on the form of what they perceive humans to think is the most high of deity wise. And I mean, you see in the hieroglyphs, the Egyptians, some of them have bird heads, some of them alligator heads, and so forth. But like, they're shapeshifters. Shapeshifters are real. I mean, like, there's.
You said shapeshifters are real. No, I believe that. I believe shapeshifters are real.
I mean, think about this. Like, there's what is it? Do skinwalkers come from?
I don't know where skinwalkers came from.
I wanted to say like Mexican culture.
Oh, I don't know. I know like the.
But
the
skinwalkers
chupacabra.
are essentially shapeshifters because they take on the form of other people. That's why their name is skinwalkers. Like, those are shapeshifters.
And then I think, you know, what if us as a collective created these creatures, you know?
With our collective.
With our consciousness. Because if we as a collective believe something is real, for example, you know, eating healthy eating vegetables and fruits makes you healthy, and that's real for us. Like, we all know that. Like, we all believe and know that, like, yes, eating healthy makes us, or eating fruits and vegetables makes us healthy. I'm like rambling. But then there's the people that are like, okay, ghosts. You know, I've seen ghosts with my eyes, or whatever you want to call them. Maybe that's not a ghost. Maybe it's just some sort of apparition, spirit, deceased love. Like, who the hell knows what it was? But I saw it with my 2 eyes. And so it's like, I understand people who have never seen any of that can really be like, oh, that's not real. But it's like, okay, because you haven't seen it. But there are people out here that have actually seen stuff. And you can say, oh, it was an illusion, or you were, you know, whatever, you know, like, you can think and say what you want, but the whole thing is there are things that have been seen by people. I also wonder, because, like, you know, in the movies and stuff with vampires, they can't be seen on camera, they can't be seen in mirrors and all that, and I'm like, what if it really does have something to do with that? Because if you can learn how to manipulate energy, you got to think that there are way more intelligent beings out here than us. Like, we're 3D, there's 4D, there's 5D beings out here, you know, that are, like I said, way more intelligent than us, and I wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I just don't think there's any way that there's not. Call me stupid.
One thing I can definitely say about the mirrors thing about the vampires is, what if, like, I mean, like, mirrors can be used for mirror magic. So what if the reason why they can't see themselves in the mirrors is because to them it's not a mirror. To them it's just a portal back to their actual world, and that's why they can't see a reflection. They only see through it and see what's on the other side in their doorways. And the other thing I was gonna say is, when it comes to, like, spirits, so all these beings are supernatural, right? What if humans, like the Native Americans, in the book I read, Native Americans, Bigfoot's their, like, spirit guide. It's the protector of the forest to them. And what if they summoned a Bigfoot to protect the forests? They summoned these creatures, these spiritual creatures, or like that. And then same with, like, werewolves, like certain certain groups of people summon these beings and these creatures to protect certain things. And then once people lose the story of how those creatures came to be, those creatures are then released from the contract that they've been bound by onto this plane, therefore giving them the power to move between this world and the other. And then
hold on, I just had a realization. I kind of want to go back to the werewolf thing, because human beings,
maybe, like, the werewolf disappeared into the mirror that it went into the bathroom.
No, listen, maybe, but humans ourselves, we're portals. Our heart is a portal. I mean, we're called the portal of our minds just because for fun, but, like, our hearts are portals. And I was thinking about how humans actually are portals. Women are portals. We bring souls down here with our freaking magical powers, you know, like, that's crazy. I mean, we're portals. And so then I was thinking about what you read about that story about that lady who turned into a werewolf for a second. It was seen by not millions of people. It was seen by, like, a couple hundred people.
It was a bunch of people in a church who witnessed this lady just out the blue.
Maybe not a couple hundred. I think it might have been a small church.
It was like 20, 30 people were in this, it was like a small church community. Well, this lady ended up turning into a werewolf, and no one really took it by surprise, but there were families who were like, what the fuck is going on? This girl's possessed.
They were thinking she was like possessed by a demon and all
then
this
they sent
stuff.
the priest over her to try to get the demon out of her, and then she finally turned back.
And then it was saying that it has been reported that things like that have happened around, like all around, but I can't remember what it said about it being like
we have
not
the
spoken
capacity
of.
What if we as humans have the capacity to channel certain animal energies through our hearts to convey a shield around us as a body?
Humans have the ability to channel aliens. It's been done. It's been reported. People channel aliens. People channel things all the time. People channel spirits. Like, that's a real thing, you know? Like, it just makes me think, you know?
People talk about it.
But, yeah.
This video can go on and on. There's so much to
There's
talk
so
about.
much to talk about. There's
It's
like
so exciting.
the mythical creature after mythical creature, like, and how they came to be, or why we created them, or if who the hell knows, you know? I think that they exist, and I think that they're real, you know? And I don't care what anyone thinks about that.
Nope.
One day when they all come out to say hello,
who's
gonna be feeling stupid?
Who's gonna be feeling crazy? But with that being said, this video getting kind of long. We can make a part 2 maybe somewhere down the line. But with that being said,
Peace.
Love you guys.